two KwaZulu-Natal families have been left reeling following a mix-up of bodies at a hospital. The families were given the wrong bodies. Independent newspapers is reporting that the error was only picked up after the last rites and cremation had been performed for one of the deceased. How do families moved on after something like this? We're joined by Gugu Mkhize, who is a terminology, heritage and culture lecturer at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Also joining us in this conversation is Ndabe Ngobo, who is from the South African Funeral Practitioners Association. Good evening. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I'm going to begin with you, Gugu, as we start off this conversation. What impact does burying the wrong body have on families?
Good evening. It's devastating because when a person has passed on, we need to lay that person to rest in a proper manner, following all the rituals that the family perform.
And let's talk about these rituals, because some of the families themselves do like to visit the grave of their loved ones who have passed on. What then happens in this case, particularly when you look at a story like this, where one of the bodies is said to have been cremated and the ashes were thrown to the sea?
It's devastating. I pass my condolences to the families, because it means now they have a double blow. They've lost the loved ones and they can't have the final send-off of that person. Having said that, I think they will have to go back to the yesteryears during the time of wars or when a person has drowned. In most of the cases, the bodies are not found of those people. So the only option is to connect spiritually through the buffalo thorn tree, which is commonly known in Zulu, Umphafa or Umlahlankosi, to connect with the one that has passed.
And Ndabe, I'd like to bring you into this discussion, because you are doing the most delicate work, particularly at such a time of COVID-19. How do you ensure, as funeral practitioners in South Africa right now, how do you ensure that you're handing over the right bodies to the right families?
First and foremost, the coronavirus pandemic has created unprecedented challenges for the funeral industry. And the traditional methods of conducting funerals, as we know it, has changed completely. However, we try our level best as the funeral sector to ensure that we assist families in burying their loved ones in a proper manner, in a dignified manner that will ensure proper closure in this third chapter.
And of course, you can't view the bodies, and the families themselves, in some instances, of course, have not been able to view the bodies. How then do you assure them that the people that they are about to bury are the right people, their family members?
Well, without proper viewing them and to ensure that they are burying the right person. However, in our association, we have advised all our members to do every possible way to assist families with the viewing of the coronavirus disease. We usually allow at least one family member to come to our mortuary facilities, dress them up in proper PPEs, and allow them to identify the body so that we ensure that we bury the correct person.
And Gugu, I'd like to bring you back into this discussion. Apart from reverting back to the times of wars, when families would not know, or drownings where they would not know where the bodies are, what recourse is really available for families who are finding themselves in such positions?
Is to consult the elders, because the elders will know what should happen. But as I've said, is to go and identify the site where the soul, or the lasting place of the soul, and go there with umphafa or umlahlankosi to connect with the deceased and take that spirit back home, and then make other arrangements how they will remember that particular soul.
And Baba Undabe, I'd like to just ask you about this. Of course, as funeral practitioners, are you not worried about the potential here of being sued? Because families are really complaining and really at pains to get to the bottom of what is happening, particularly when you look at a story like the one we are running tonight of, two families. One, unfortunately now will no longer have a recourse because that body was cremated and the ashes thrown to the sea, while the others have now buried the wrong body. Are you not worried about being sued?
Mazwane, I would like to make an impassionate plea to all our members and to all other funeral directors to assist the families with this most important process of identifying the body. The challenge that we face as the funeral directors is that scientifically, we don't even know how long the virus survives in the human remains after the person is deceased. And therefore, we try our level best to minimize the risk of exposure of our staff members. However, even under such circumstances, we still can allow at least one family member to come and identify a body dressed up in proper PPEs, so that the family does not fall in the trap of the misfortune of burying a wrong body. So the fact of the matter is, we do allow families to view the bodies so that a correct body is buried.